Good afternoon. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about, well, just the utter carnage that is caused by the narcissist. It's intense. So I want you to think about something right at the onset of this video. One narcissist can cause absolutely irreparable damage to so many people throughout the course of their lives. They cause carnage everywhere they go. So the thing I use to illustrate this a lot is that they're like an evil whirlwind or a vortex, however you want to put it, because they suck people in as time goes on. They travel about the globe doing this, swirling, 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 and pulling unsuspecting people into that mess. And just like a vortex, it sucks in everything around it. But also sort of like a whirlwind, it shoots things out from it as well. It projects things. And that's what the narcissist does. They're evil on two legs. That's basically a good description. But they go about their lives. And so I want you to think about one narcissist throughout the course of their lives can do so much damage to so many people. One human wrecking ball. That is the narcissist. So they do this with you. Let's start with you, what they do in a relationship. So if you get into a relationship with these people, they will beat you down so much. The abuse is absolutely insidious. And a lot of people who haven't experienced this, they just won't understand. And it's not their fault. I think there are plenty of people who try to understand. Some of you watching this may not have been in a narcissistic relationship, but you're here trying to understand what these people are like. But chances are, just by me describing it, you're able to pinpoint people in your life. Maybe it's friends, acquaintances, co-workers, whatever it is. You can pinpoint people in your life that have these narcissistic traits. But even if you haven't been in a serious, like a romantic relationship, you may not understand the full blast of what these people do to you. But they beat you down so insidiously and so methodically. And because of the mask they showed you at the beginning, you have cognitive dissonance going on where you cannot grasp the behaviors that you see because of what you saw at the beginning. But what happens is they pepper you and beat you down and bludgeon you little by little by little with their abuse, criticism, and gaslighting, blame shifting. They just make your mind into a jumbled mess. It's crazy making is what I guess people now term a lot of this stuff, but that's what they do. They make you crazy. They slowly turn you into them. They replace your good energy, so to speak, your light, with their darkness. That's what they do. So they beat you down. And so the point is, by the time the relationship is well underway, at a midpoint or even a late stage or post discard, when the relationship ends, you are basically a shell of what you were. Now, this happens to different degrees. If you are a spiritually strong person going in, and believe me, it makes a huge difference, because this is a spiritual problem. Narcissism is a spiritual disorder. So if you went into the relationship and you were spiritually strong, you were a believer, you knew Christ, it's not going to have as bad an effect on you because you're rooted. And you can probably recover much more quickly as well. I know that was my experience. I don't know if you ever recover to perfection or you get to a place where you don't ever think about it, but you definitely heal. And I think it happens quicker because you're able to talk to the great therapist, which is God, and he helps you through this in a way that a human therapist and even friends and things, though important, they can't do it like that. Some people struggle for years and years and years or never get over it. And that's my point. When they've peppered you with abuse and beaten you down to the point where you just don't function the way that you did. You become a shell of yourself, at least for a time, and many people become a shell of themselves for the rest of time. I know people who have taken their own lives because of narcissistic abuse. Those people never recovered. Not only did they lose their lives here on earth, they lost their lives for all eternity. Now, the people I'm thinking of weren't believers to begin with, and that's probably the problem. But you see what I'm saying. the cost is great. That is collateral damage at its height. So they do this, though. They beat you down. One of the things they also do is they cause you to be a damaged person if you don't heal. So you'll go through your life for the rest of your life, perhaps, and never trust anybody. Never be able to fully open up to anybody ever again. You may have doubts. Even if you do heal, they open up Pandora's box in your mind from that point on. So that even if you are a person who's really spiritually rooted and you come out and you are maybe even in a better place than you were before that, which happens. Andrew at Narc Daily, one of my favorite streams, favorite channels. If you haven't watched it, Andrew at Narc Daily. It's really great. He talks about this all the time, though. You become the third version of yourself if you figure it out and if you heal. But a lot of people do not ever figure it out. And a lot of people never heal. So they beat you down, and when the relationship is over, oftentimes you never trust again. I can't tell you how many people I've heard that from or read comments or seen on videos that talk about narcissistic abuse and that they never open up and never trust anybody ever again. Because the damage is so bad. They've rattled you and jarred you to the core. This is serious stuff we're talking about. This is why I tell you these people are evil. If you can't call a narcissist and what their behaviors are, if you can't call that evil, what is evil? These people are the tares in the field that Jesus talked about in his parable of the tares. They're the ones strangling the good crop, growing together with them and, believe me, strangling out a lot of them. They're the things that Satan plants into this world. They're his little minions, his foot soldiers. They cause a variety of damage. So that one narcissist that abused you caused perhaps, or whoever it was, a damaged person from that point on. And that damaged person then has to go through the world. And you know what that damaged person does? Not only are they screwed up now in a lot of ways, if they don't heal. I keep saying that, if they don't heal. But they're screwed up in a lot of different ways. And then they can't trust people. And then they treat people differently. In many cases, someone who suffers from narcissistic abuse then acts like the narcissist in a variety of ways because they're so damaged now. It's like a contagion almost. It's like the narcissist touches you and then you become contaminated and you touch a bunch of other people and they become contaminated if you're not in a good place and you don't recover. So imagine right there how many people were damaged from one narcissist. It's scary, but it's how it works. Think about this in another way. The cycle of abuse. Let's fast forward. Let's play it out with their kids. Narcissists are absolutely abysmal parents. They're horrible. And just as a general thing, this is the truth. If you want to know the character of any person, it's not 100% because nothing is, but generally, how a person treats their children is going to tell you everything you need to know about that person. And yes, their spouse, their loved ones, but the way that they treat their children, well, narcissists treat their children horrifically. And imagine that they beat these people down, or they praise them and make them a golden child, and they turn them into a copy of themselves. Whatever the case is, the damage they do to their kids is immense. So that their kids either grow up to be codependents, where they cannot be alone, they can't function by themselves. They gotta have someone. Or they grow up to be narcissists, or other type of toxic person, maybe a borderline. And the cycle continues. That child then affects all of their friends, affects every encounter, every acquaintance, every person they've ever known, and they rub that nastiness off on them. And then those people rub the nastiness off on other people. And you can see this ripple effect. It's very much like throwing a stone into a pond. That narcissist is the stone, and they hit the pond, and the ripple effects go on and on and on, outward, from one stone being thrown. That is the narcissist. So they do this in every relationship that they're ever in. They leave people tattered, torn, broken, damaged. And they do this with every romantic partner that they have, so that that person then has to go on and negatively affect all sorts of people around them if they don't get the knowledge and heal. Their kids, if they don't someday get the knowledge and heal, they are going to go about their lives and do the same thing. And then you know what they'll do? They'll start families. They'll have significant others. They'll have children. And they'll do the same things to their kids. This is why a lot of times people talk about generational curses. And biblically speaking, generational curses. Now, I'm 100% an advocate and a believer that any person through Christ can break a generational curse. You don't have to continue with the cycle and perpetuate the cycle. So it's not like it's fixed. Oh, there's a generational curse, and so everybody in that family is always going to be this way, and they have to be. No, people break generational curses, and you only do that spiritually through Christ. But this, more often than not, does create something of a generational curse, because the narcissist abuses their kids. Their kids become... The narcissist probably became that in part because of the way they were treated as children, but they gave themselves over to a reprobate mind. They chose the path of darkness rather than the path of light. But then they give that to their kids. And then their kids go through their lives and get in romantic relationships and have friends and coworkers, and they do this stuff to them if they've also chosen that path of darkness. And the cycle continues on and on and on. You can imagine how this works. Think about the carnage that one narcissist can cause. So let's bring this out full circle for a minute. If you don't think that narcissism is a big deal, or that they're just mean people, I talk about this frequently. Narcissists are not simply mean people or rough around the edges. It's not like you can enter a relationship with a narcissist and go through what they put you through and leave and just snap your fingers and be good. People who don't understand, and it's not their fault oftentimes, but people who don't understand will just tell you things like, move on, suck it up. Maybe they don't put it that way, but they might say, you're not really trying to get over this. Or they might say, well, come on, just go date somebody else. Relationships end all the time. Just go get on a dating site. I talk about dating sites, can't stand them. They're a breeding ground for narcissists and other toxic behaviors, but that's for another video. But people who don't understand will tell you that. What's the big deal? Just move on. Why are you so hung up on this person? Why haven't you just moved on with your life? It doesn't work that way. You were in a cage match with a demon and you didn't know it. Maybe a cage match with multiple demons and you didn't know it. And that's the dirty little secret about narcissism. That's why when you're in the relationship, even if it's a friendship, you can experience this, but in a romantic relationship or a parent relationship, maybe an uncle and aunt even, if you're that close to them, you can feel this weird energy from them. And you can't explain it. It's the strangest thing. And for the longest time, like for me, I felt this, but I couldn't put my finger on it. I knew the behavior was absolutely obscene at times. I knew this person was Dr. Jekyll and Hyde, Mr. Hyde. You feel so weird, but you can't place what it is until finally you get the knowledge. And then you understand, and all those pieces that were floating around click. And the point of it is, you cannot understand fully what this is like unless you've been through it. Hats off to everyone who's trying to understand it. That's great, you should. And maybe by doing this, you can avoid these people, and you can point out the red flags. That's the hope. You don't have to go through the relationship. I'm simply saying that if you have, you understand what this is like. You were in a cage match with the forces of evil, and you did not know it. Hopefully, you had the Spirit of God, and you had people on your side from the heavenly realm, because that's what it takes. But unless you wake up and you get the knowledge and you come to understand it, and then it clicks, because you say, man, I was fighting a spiritual battle. That's why it felt so strange. That's why when the relationship ended, I couldn't just move on like that. That's why I felt almost a weird addiction to having to be around this person that I've never experienced in my life, because it was spiritual. It was spiritual in nature. And they bludgeoned you so badly. They hurt people unimaginably, sometimes to the point that the person isn't here anymore, if you know what I mean. It happens. This is a terrific evil. This is one of the greatest evils of our times. So every narcissist, one narcissist, can cause a variety of damage to everyone around them. They go through life and they chew people up and they spit them back out. And then that person is damaged oftentimes, and then they go and damage other people. And then those people go and damage other people. One narcissist can wreck many lives. Many lives. So be aware, guys, one narcissist can cause a ton of carnage by themselves. And that is why, when you pinpoint who they are, you've got to get out of their lives. Go no contact, block them on everything. Don't respond. I don't care if they're family members. If you know what they are, you've got to get away from them, because their relationship doesn't improve. They will never change 99.9% of the time. Most of them are completely reprobate. They're given over to a reprobate mind. They're morally depraved. All you can do when you spot these people is get away from them. And then hopefully you figure it out and you help other people to get the knowledge and to get away from them too. If you want to pray for them, that's great, if that's what you decide that you should do. But do it from afar. One narcissist can cause so much carnage. So guys, I hope this resonates with you. If it does, continue to follow my work here. I'd appreciate any comments and things. Just interested to hear what experiences you have had and if this strikes a chord with you. So I'll be back with another one, but until then, God bless.